The world does not wait for the hesitant. It does not pause for the man who lingers in doubt or the woman who hides behind excuses. The world bows only to those who move forward with the audacity of champions, long before they are recognized as one. Act like a champion until you are one, because greatness is never given. It is never handed over on a silver platter. It is carved from the marrow of struggle, shaped in silence, forged in fire. That is the first truth. You must walk, breathe, and speak with the certainty of a champion. Even when your bank account is empty, even when no one knows your name, even when your hands tremble under the weight of uncertainty, you must project the energy of victory before it manifests, because energy precedes reality. Belief births destiny. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years behind bars, but prison walls could not contain the way he carried himself. He walked as though he was already free. He spoke as though he already led a nation. His spirit was undefeated, and when the world finally opened its gates, he stepped into the role he had long rehearsed. That is the champion's way. Success begins in the unseen. It begins when no one is watching, in the way you tie your shoes before training, in the way you show up to a job you despise but refuse to perform half-heartedly, in the way you carry discipline into the smallest acts of your day. Because the world does not reward the loudest voice. It rewards the strongest foundation, and that foundation is built in the shadows. The early morning alarm that rips you from comfort, the late night study session when everyone else has surrendered to sleep, the discipline to say no when temptation smiles at you. Every small act is a brick laid on the road to glory. You see, champions are not born in stadiums, they are born in silence. Michael Jordan was not crowned in the roar of Chicago Stadium. He was crowned in the empty gym, shooting jump shot after jump shot until his hands blistered. He acted like the legend he would become long before the world knew his name. The tragedy of most men and women is not that they aim too high and miss, it is that they aim too low and hit. They accept mediocrity because mediocrity feels safe. They hide behind excuses saying, one day I'll be ready, one day I'll have what it takes. But champions understand, if you wait to be ready, you will die waiting. Readiness is not a condition of success, it is a consequence of it. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And he proved it by creating an industry where others saw impossibility. Ford acted like a man of vision when the world mocked him as a dreamer. But he didn't just dream. He disciplined himself into action, and action built the reality others now live in. Belief without discipline is delusion. Discipline without belief is slavery. But belief fused with discipline becomes unstoppable power. That is the engine of champions. Ask yourself, how do you speak to yourself when no one is around? Do you shrink in doubt, or do you declare victory in the silence of your own mind? Your self-talk is the blueprint of your destiny. Words create worlds. You cannot act like a champion if your tongue poisons your spirit. Replace hesitation with conviction. Replace complaint with gratitude. Replace I can't with I will. Because the mind is the battlefield. Every day your future is decided in the invisible war within your thoughts. Napoleon Hill once wrote, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This is not poetry. This is strategy. Your mind is the architect of your reality. What you allow to dwell there becomes the structure you inhabit. Do not let fear take residence in the mansion of your mind. Do not let doubt be the landlord of your soul. Evict weakness, invite discipline, and then act with the certainty of a man who already stands atop the mountain. But understand this, the mountain will fight you. It will resist every step. You will stumble, you will fall, you will taste defeat more times than you can count. But champions know defeat is not the end. It is the education. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But he did not call them failures. He called them lessons. Every misstep taught him what would not work. And each lesson brought him closer to the one that would. This is resilience, the ability to stand tall when the storm has broken every branch around you, the ability to keep moving when your legs scream for rest, the ability to act like a champion precisely when the world tells you you're not. And make no mistake, the world will tell you you're not. Friends will laugh at you, strangers will doubt you, even family will question you, but their voices do not define you. The lion does not lose sleep over the opinion of sheep. If you bend to the doubts of others, you will inherit their mediocrity. But if you stand firm in your conviction, you will inherit your crown. Adaptability is also the weapon of champions. Mike Tyson said, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." And he was right. Life will strike you with blows you never anticipated. Business will collapse. Relationships will fracture. Dreams will delay. But the champion adjusts. He bends without breaking. He shifts without surrendering. He adapts his strategy while preserving his vision. Because vision is eternal, but tactics are flexible. Elon Musk was ridiculed for daring to build rockets. They told him he was insane. They said he would burr in through his fortune and his future. But when failure came, when rockets exploded on the launch pad, he adapted, he learned, he adjusted his aim. And because he persisted, the same world that mocked him now pays him to touch the stars. Act like a champion until you are one. Carry yourself with the posture of victory. Speak with the tongue of conviction. Work with the hands of discipline. And when the storms come, and they will, stand unshaken. Because the crown is not given to those who want it most. It is given to those who endure the fire and remain unburned. But remember, victory without gratitude is hollow. What good is success if your soul is starved? A true champion does not forget where he came from. He does not climb the mountain only to kick dirt on those below. He turns back, reaches down, and pulls others upward. Because greatness without service is emptiness. Gratitude sharpens the vision. It keeps the heart pure when power tempts corruption. It reminds you that the breath in your lungs, the chance to fight another day, is already a gift. The champion sees victory in the smallest blessings, the sunrise, the struggle, the scars that prove survival. Gratitude keeps arrogance from poisoning your destiny. It grounds you when success lifts you high. It whispers, "You are blessed to serve, not entitled to rule." And in that humility lies unshakable power. A champion is not just a fighter in the ring. A champion is a creator in the mind, an architect in the soul, a sculptor carving out destiny with bloody hands and an unbreakable will. To act like a champion is to embody victory in every breath, not for applause, not for trophies, but because your very spirit demands it. Discipline is your armor, purpose is your sword, and vision is the compass that keeps you from wandering into mediocrity. Without vision, you will perish. History is littered with men who had talent but no direction. They drowned in comfort, paralyzed by short-term pleasures, forgetting that comfort is the enemy of greatness. Comfort whispers, "Stay where you are. You've done enough." But champions know enough is never enough. The moment you settle, you surrender your crown. Think of Alexander the Great. He wept when there were no more worlds left to conquer. Why? Because his spirit understood that man was not built for stagnation. The soul demands progress. Growth is oxygen for the champion. And when you stop growing, you suffocate in the silence of your own wasted potential. That is why clarity is essential. You cannot fight shadows. You cannot conquer fog. You must define your target. Write your vision in stone. See it so vividly in your mind that the world has no choice but to catch up. If you are vague, your results will be vague. If you are precise, your results will be sharp. Clarity is the steering wheel of destiny. But once vision is clear, purpose must drive it. Purpose is what keeps you moving when money dries up, when friends betray you, when exhaustion threatens to drown you. Without purpose, you will quit the first time pain knocks at your door. But with purpose, you will drag your broken body across the battlefield because you know what you fight for is greater than your suffering. Martin Luther King. Jr. did not march for comfort. He marched for purpose. He stared down death threats, prison bars, and a system designed to silence him. Yet he never stopped walking. Why? Because purpose makes a man unkillable. You can imprison his body, but you cannot cage a purpose-driven soul. And so when you act like a champion, you are not pretending. You are rehearsing. You are aligning your body with the frequency of your destiny. You are practicing the man or woman you are becoming. The crown is already carved with your name, but you must grow into the strength required to wear it. That growth requires action, not talk, not empty promises, action. The graveyard is filled with dreamers who never acted. Ideas that could have changed the world are buried in silence because their carriers never moved. They waited for permission. They waited for certainty. And while they waited, time devoured them. Action is the antidote to fear. Fear thrives in hesitation. But the moment you move, the moment you step forward, fear begins to suffocate. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to act in spite of it. When young Steve Jobs was fired from the company he created, the world thought he was finished. But he acted. He kept building, kept creating, kept chasing vision. And when he returned to Apple, he turned it into the most valuable company on earth. That is the power of relentless action. Champions are not defined by setbacks. They are defined by what they do after setbacks. Do not confuse movement with progress. Running in circles is not the same as moving forward. Champions act with precision, with focus, with intention. Every step has meaning. Every move is aligned with the vision, because wasted energy is the cousin of defeat. And when you align discipline, belief, vision, purpose, and action, you become unstoppable. You develop momentum, and momentum is the most dangerous force on earth. Once a boulder begins rolling down a mountain, no man can stand in its way. That is what your life must become, an avalanche of purpose and power that nothing can halt. Yet even in momentum, adaptability remains essential. Rigid branches snap in the storm, but flexible ones bend and survive. The world is changing faster than at any time in history. Technology evolves, economies collapse, new industries rise. If you cling to the past, you will be buried by it. But if you adapt, you can turn the chaos into opportunity. Look at the great investors like Warren Buffett. They thrive not by fighting the tide, but by reading it. They shift their sails when the winds change, and because they adapt, they endure while others drown. A champion is not stubborn for the sake of pride. A champion is adaptable for the sake of victory. And through it all, resilience is the heartbeat. Resilience is waking up after failure and saying, I'm not done. It's refusing to let loss define you. It's falling 7 times and standing 8. The world loves resilience because it cannot be bought. It must be earned. It must be carved into your bones through trial. Remember Michael Jordan again. He was cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine if he quit there. Imagine if he let rejection write his story. The world would have been robbed of greatness, but he used rejection as fuel. He turned pain into hunger, and hunger became his crow. And that is what you must do. Turn betrayal into fire. Turn doubt into focus. Turn fear into courage. Every wound must become a weapon. Every scar a lesson. Every tear a sharpening of your resolve. Because nothing is wasted in the life of a champion. And so we arrive at the truth that binds it all together. Act like a champion until you are one. Not because it's a trick, not because it's a mask, but because it is rehearsal. It is the process of aligning your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your spirit with the destiny you are moving toward. Speak victory until your tongue knows no other language. Walk tall until your spine forgets how to bend. Work relentlessly until the universe itself has no choice but to open its doors. You will stumble, you will bleed, you will cry in silence. But every step forward writes the script of your greatness. And when the day comes, and it will come, when the world finally sees what you have always known in your heart, when the crown is placed upon your head, when the stadium roars your name, you will realize something. You were never pretending. You were never faking it. You were never an imposter. You were a champion all along. The world simply took time to catch up.